Recalling a journey from Dawson, Manitoba, back to Minneapolis with Wally, Bobby and Ray Stevens found themselves lost. In a humorous twist, Bobby explained to a police officer that they were hitchhiking while waiting for Wally, who had gone into a hotel for directions. After the encounter with the cop, Bobby the Brain Heenan found himself in a tense situation with Wally. Emerging from a hotel, Wally, visibly angered, informed Bobby that he had been fined $200 for an open bottle in the car and picking up hitchhikers. Bobby also recounted the wrestling career of George Gadaski, a referee and a wrestler known for his toughness and dedication to setting up the ring before every show. George's commitment to his task didn't spare him from Vern and Wally's complaints about the budget for maintaining the ring. After George's unfortunate death from a brain tumor, a revelation at his funeral shocked Vern and Wally. George had built a barn using wood Vern had repeatedly bought for the ring, a fact that became apparent only after George's passing. Recalling Wally Carbo's gestures of hospitality, Bobby shared a humorous memory of Wally providing him a room at the Dykeman Hotel with a less than impressive view of the wall. Even years after Wally's passing, Bobby still humorously thanked him for the memorable accommodation. Returning to the AWA in 1974, Bobby managed Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens. While Ray Stevens, Bobby's idol, was known for his talent and carefree lifestyle, Nick Bockwinkel exemplified professionalism, maintaining a conscientious approach to his career. The stark contrast in their approach to wrestling provided an interesting dynamic within the business. As Bobby and Nick Bockwinkel flew from Houston to Minneapolis after working for Texas promoter Paul Bosch, Bobby encountered a strange incident on the plane. Seated in the last row, he noticed a man attempting to open the emergency door. Reacting swiftly, Bobby restrained the man and sought assistance. However, Nick, unfazed, questioned Bobby's actions, playfully addressing him as Sir Robert, due to his knighting by Lord James Blears on the floor of the St. Paul Civic Center. Later, Bobby learned that the man was recently released from a mental institution and was merely searching for the bathroom. Upon landing in Memphis, the pilot expressed gratitude, and Bobby humorously requested a free round-trip ticket, receiving 2 bottles of vodka instead. Nick Bockwinkel, known for his extensive vocabulary, often used complex words that puzzled Bobby and Ray Stevens. Their playful banter included a misunderstanding about the term paradox. Baron von Raschke teased Nick about being educated beyond his means, highlighting his intellectual prowess. Engaging in some light-hearted ribbing, Bobby joked about Nick's AWA championship belt, which was crafted by Denver prison inmates. Teasing Nick about the size of the belt, Bobby suggested it resembled a license plate. The AWA, with its Wintertown schedule and talent roster, stood out as a major league for Bobby Heenan, a step up from Indianapolis. However, despite the favorable conditions, Bobby decided to leave for Atlanta in 1979 with Black Jack Lanza. Vern struggled to explain Bobby's departure. They concocted a story where Bobby was suspended for a year, citing an altercation with AWA president Stanley Blackburn. Atlanta, a territory governed by the National Wrestling Alliance, presented a different landscape. NWA champions faced strict regulations, with the board determining title changes, deposits required, and even specific match outcomes. In Atlanta, Bobby managed a version of the Bobby Heenan family, including Killer Carl Cox, Masked Superstar, and the unconventional Dr. Judo, Bill Howard. The wrestling world in Atlanta had its quirks, exemplified by Killer Carl Cox's unconventional match against Dick Burdock. Before the bout, Carl playfully inserted a softened Hershey chocolate bar down his trunks. When Murdoch executed a move, Carl, in a comical manner, pulled out a big brown hand from his trunks, leaving the audience with laughter and confusion. In another incident in Rome, Georgia, during a tag match with Heenan, Cox disappeared mid-match, leaving Bobby to fend for himself. When Cox returned, he had 3 feet of toilet paper hanging from his trunks, distracting the audience as he indulged in a hot dog at the concession stand. This unorthodox behavior continued as Cox, dubbed the Macon champion, repeatedly discarded his championship belt, expressing his disinterest in holding the title. Cox's strange sense of humor extended to his use of a glass eye. In restaurants, he would drop the glass eye into his soup and beckon the waitress with one eye shut, creating a surprising and amusing spectacle. Additionally, Cox enjoyed teasing young Japanese wrestlers in the locker room, pretending to lose his glass eye among his belongings, only to reveal it between his cheeks as a playful prank. Bobby Heenan found himself in a nerve-wracking situation while suspended in a cage above the ring during Cox's match against Bob Armstrong in Atlanta. Uncomfortable with heights, Bobby faced the additional challenge of throwing powder to Cox while clad in black attire. Despite the tense moments, the unique and unpredictable nature of wrestling in Atlanta kept the audience engaged. Bobby also shared his experience working with renowned announcer Gordon Solie in Atlanta. Solie, known for his deep knowledge of wrestling and memorable catchphrases, commanded respect within the industry. A memorable incident involving Solie getting involved in a storyline led to his temporary dismissal, showcasing the fine line between storytelling and protecting the integrity of the announcers. Heenan reflected on his time in Atlanta. He expressed the challenges of working with Booker Ole Anderson and the less-than-friendly environment. Despite the lack of financial rewards, Bobby stayed for nearly a year before deciding to return to the AWA, marking the end of his Atlanta wrestling chapter.